Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife Karina from Venezuela. You know that. I got this giant microphone here. I got J Rod hanging out on the Mountain Dew can. And today and yesterday, I got to eat some Ukrainian cake. Now, I'm not allowed to drink Coke. I'm not allowed to drink Mountain Dew because it's got high sugar content. And it's not, and I'm trying to get rid of this gut, which is working. But Karina's friend from Ukraine made this cake for her birthday, and I was offered a piece of Ukrainian cake, and I ate it all up, just like the big bad wolf in the Three Bears, or whatever it is. No, that was Goldilocks in the Three Bears. I ate it all up. What the sugar level did, I don't know. Christopher Reese, good evening, Diego and Karina. Christopher, what's going on? How's your family? How are you? Francois, good evening, Diego and Karina. Hello, Francois and Hamid. Now, Francois and Hamid are up in upstate New York, and we hope you're doing well. I ate some yesterday and today I ate some Ukrainian cake, and it was very, very delicious. Christopher Reese, 10 minus 18 days. There you go. That's very good. Let's see. We got to put some pixie dust on you, right? We got to put some MAGA pixie dust on Christopher. And all is well, says Francois. That's very good. And Dwayne Bookerman, 1 week till the Scary Visa interview. You like my t-shirt from Cartagena, Colombia? I can actually fit in it now. I mean, before my gut was out. Now I'm actually able to fit in my t-shirt because I'm on this diet thing that I'm putting myself on after watching some YouTube videos on how to lose all this fat off my gut, and because of this high sugar content in my blood. So now I'm good to go. So I get to live another day, but I can fit into my t-shirt from Cartagena, Colombia. So Dwayne Bookerman, don't worry about the Scary Visa interview. It's no big deal. The interview is going to be a breeze. More people are more nervous about going to the interview than going to the actual interview. People are more scared of being going in there. So you've got this. Okay, J Rod, you're going to sit down here. And here's the Mountain Dew salute ready to go. Now, I got to tell you all this. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't give you any legal advice. But I got 12 years experience processing K-1 visas and green cards. 12 years I've been doing this. I can do it in my sleep. I can do it sleepwalking. Putting together a green card package is easy, and etc. But the paperwork gets confusing. So here's the channel that's going to help you get unconfused. Now remember, if you have a K2, if you brought a child to the United States, let me see. Hello, says Francois, says Christopher, and Christopher says, how much weight are you down? I'm down 12 pounds. Now, Karina doesn't have a clue what pounds are. She works in kilograms. But we're going to get her onto pounds so she understands how the American system works. But she said she understands. But I'm getting there. I still got this to go right here. See that? That's got to go. That's another 10 pounds right there. Francois, hello, Christopher. All is well. You getting butterflies? Yeah, I remember when Francois had butterflies. She would text me, I got butterflies. I get an email from Francois, I got butterflies. I said, well, go chase the butterflies. Hamid's going to get his green card. This was a year ago. Hamid got his green card, so all those butterflies flying around was just a total waste of time. Right, Francois? Christopher says, butterflies, I've got bats. There you go. Yeah, I lost about 10 pounds. And this is another 10 pounds here. When I get rid of this, not only will I be able to fit in my shirts, I'll be able to fit into my pants. I got lazy, I guess, when I retired. I just got lazy. But if you're bringing a K2 to the United States, Francois, you are 100% correct, Diego. I don't ever forget anything. Francois, and you messaged me, emailed me, you got butterflies. And I said, well, okay. When I was about 10 years old, I used to collect butterflies. I'd go out with a net and chase them and catch them. And then I'd put them in this jar with ether, and then I'd stick a pin in their thorax and save them. Why I did that, I don't know, but they were pretty. I don't do that now. And Christopher says, proud of you, Diego. Well, thanks, Christopher. Dwayne Bookman, it's funny because I'm more nervous than my wife, but I know we got this. Why are you nervous, Dwayne? Okay, Christopher, I've got a K2, so my ears are open. Okay, now listen, pay attention, class. If you brought a K2 to the United States, go ahead, when you get the green cards, look at the issue date on both green cards. The K2 and your K1. The issue date, if you filed the green card application together, the issue date is going to be the same on both green cards, which means you can include the K2 on the K1 751 when you file the paperwork to lift the conditions off the K1. Okay, so if you have a K2, you're going to fill out USCIS form I-751, and you're going to send in all this evidence of your relationship 90 days before your 2-year green card expires. Now, you got a K2, and you want to, okay, what do I do with the K2? You include the K2 on the 751 paperwork in Part 5. So you go ahead, if you get a chance today or tomorrow, go ahead and take a look at USCIS form I-751, and then look at Part 5. And on there it says, any children. So if you have a child and you filed the K1 visas together at the same time, you filed, actually the green cards, you filed for the green cards together at the same time. Let me see, good. So 751, not 2, that is a good thing. Right. So you got to fill out one I-751 for 2 people, the K1 and the K2. But the stipulation is the child has to be issued the green card the same day as the beneficiary K1, or within 90 days. So if you look at the 2 green cards, the issue dates, if they're most of the time, 99% of the time when you file 2 green card applications together for K1, K2, the issue date is going to be the same. But if you waited a couple, you got late, you waited a week or so, whatever, if they're within the 90-day window, you can file for your child in one form. The K1 and the K2 can be filed together on Form 751. That means you only have to pay $750 as of September 3rd, 2025. So you only have to pay for one condition. You only have to pay for one processing fee of $750, but you have to include $85 per child. So if you have a K2, you go to Part 5 of the 751, you put the child's name in there and the child's alien registration number off of his or her green card. Okay. Then you're going to pay for this on USCIS form 1650. Because as of October 28th, 2025, you are not going to be able to use a check or a money order to pay for your beneficiary's green card applications. So you got a K1, you got a K2, you get married within 90 days, you file for the K1 and the K2's green card at the same time in the same packet. The green cards come in, the K1 and the K2, the issue date is going to be the same, and the child is under age 21. If the child is under age 21, so if the child is 20, 19, 18, 17, etc., okay, then you can file for your K2s on the one Form 751 with one processing fee of $750 plus $85 per child. That's the biometrics fee. Okay, Christopher, I like the name because Christopher Reese wished the other forms for only one form, but I got down to 2 of everything, okay? Because of Jesus channel. Good evening, Diego and Karina. Because of Jesus channel, what's going on? How is your channel doing? Hopefully you're getting lots of subscribers. You like my t-shirt? I was able to wear it today because my belly has gone down, and I've lost 12 pounds, and I've got to get rid of another 20, I would say another 10 pounds. 10 pounds is good, another 10 pounds. Christopher Reese, -4, soon to be 5. So, Christopher, you filed for the K1, you filed for both green cards at the same time, for your K1 and K2, right, Christopher, for your 4-year-old, right? Which makes the 4-year-old your stepchild because he's under the age of 18. When a U.S. citizen marries a foreign national who has children under the age of 18, the child becomes an automatic stepchild. Okay? Which means that when you lift the conditions off of your wife's or husband's to your green card, you can do it for the child at the same time. Save yourself $750, but just pay the $85 biometric fee. Because of Jesus channel. Good, thanks. Very good. We're glad to hear that. Now, don't forget, folks, to let everybody know where you're at. We're in Florida. We're in the panhandle of Florida, near Pensacola. We don't live in Pensacola. Christopher Reese, bam, save some money, right? But immigration attorneys are not putting this information out there. I haven't seen one YouTube video from an immigration attorney telling people October 28th is the cutoff for paying by check or money order. October 28th, you got to start using Form 1650. You got to give the immigration folks your routing number of your bank, your checking account number, so they can do a debit removal of the visa fee. Okay? I'm the only channel putting that information out there. Christopher, I'm on my sofa, Diego. No, for real. I'm in North Carolina. There you go. Francois, we're in New York State. Hip, hip, hooray. You're in upstate New York. Okay? There's a difference between in upstate New York, where all the sane people live, and being in New York City, where all the not so intelligent people live, other than the folks that work at Wall Street, right? I feel sorry for folks living in New York because, it's the cost of living there is insane. I mean, try to rent an apartment or a studio apartment in New York City. It's what, $4,000 a month, $3,000 a month just for a 1-bedroom apartment? And why is that? Because the government in New York City spends so much money on stuff that the people of New York City don't need, like illegal immigrants, that it's jacking up the prices of everything. Why is it so expensive to live in New York City, the city? Why can't you find why are the homes so expensive? Why is it so expensive? Because illegal immigrants are taking roost there. There's more illegal immigrants in New York than any other city, I think, other than Los Angeles, probably. Dwayne Bickelman, we're in Pennsylvania. Christopher Reese, upstate, where I seen the snow the first time was in Watertown, New York. Now, I was in Staten Island. I was with my aunt in Staten Island, and we had the blizzard of 82. And I got snowed into my aunt's townhouse on Staten Island. Snowed in. Snow was up to the second floor. And I looked out the second floor window, and I'm like, what the heck? How am I supposed to get out of the house? So I got out of the window and I climbed down. I shoveled the snow off to the sidewalks. I shoveled the snow, okay, so my aunt could get out of the house for work, because she worked at the World Trade Center back then in 82. But I think you can get fined for shoveling snow now if you take initiative. I don't know if New York City government will fine you for shoveling your own snow off your own sidewalk. Who knows? But after I saw all that snow, when the snow was cleared finally, I asked my aunt. I said, "Oh, I forgot one of my thingamajiggers." I said to my aunt, "Please drive me over to Queens, drive me over to John F. Kennedy International Airport." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because have you not seen all this snow out here? I mean, do you see all this snow, Aunt?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, well, I don't have to live here. I'm a teenager, and ride me to JFK, and I'm going to buy a one-way plane ticket to Florida. And she said, are you crazy? I said, no, I'm not crazy. I said, I'm not living in the snow. So she drove me to JFK. I got on the plane, flew to Jacksonville, Florida, spent a couple of days there. I said, no, I don't want to live here. I got on a Greyhound bus and rode across the entire north panhandle of Florida. And I got off the bus in Fort Walton Beach. I said, yeah, this is great. I'm going to live here. And I got off the bus in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And so I got a job at the very bus station where I got off the bus at. Anyway, because of Jesus channel, I got my interview scheduled for next month. Okay, MAGA pixie dust because of Jesus channel, good. And a Mountain Dew salute without any Mountain Dew. Now, a Pepsi Cola company don't pay me to do these Mountain Dew salutes, okay? They don't pay me anything. I just do it because I used to drink Mountain Dew because I like it. Francois Livingston, Watertown is not my kind of town. Sorry, Christopher. Going to be ready to nose to the grinder, Diego. First social security number for K1. Now, you cannot get the K2 as social security number. You have to file for the K2 social security number in USCIS form I-485 for the child. So you got a 4-year-old. You're going to put together a green card application for the 4-year-old, a 485, an 864, a 693, an I-94, a certified copy of your marriage certificate, any divorce decree certified. You can't go to Office Depot and make a photocopy of your marriage certificate. It has to be certified by the clerk of the court. That's what you have to get 5 certified copies for the future. When we got married, when Karina and I, we got married on the beach in Florida, okay? As soon as I got to the government office, I got 5 certified copies of our marriage certificate. One was given to us by the government. Yeah, congratulations, Diego and Karina. The second one was free. The government gave us a free certified copy, so I had 2. And I bought 3 more. Why did I buy 3 more copies of the certified marriage certificate, stamped and signed by the clerk of the court? Well, I needed 1 for Karina's 2-year green card application. I need 1 for Karina's 10-year green card application. I need 1 for her U.S. citizenship application, and a backup in case immigration lose it. So when you get married, get 5 certified copies of your marriage certificate. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's French, right? Or is that Spanish? Okay, 5 of them. Let me see here. So, Christopher, get the social security number for your K2 child when you file for the green card. Make sure you put in the 485 that you want immigration to process her or his social security number. So you're going to stay ahead of the game, not behind. That's correct. Then married, then start all the paperwork for their green card. Going to help, need help, Diego. I'm here to help you, Christopher. You remember the channel. You paid for a membership, right? Which means you got my phone number, my email address, and you can call me, text me, email me any day of the week. 7 days a week, I'm open to help people who are members of this channel. If you're a member of this channel, I'm open 7 days a week, because you never know when you're going to get an immigration question pop up. It could happen all of a sudden, right? And you want to know right away what the answer is, then you can text me. So Chad Maynard, my wife and I had our green card interview in Cincinnati, Ohio, and she was approved on the spot August 28th. Well, that's a Mountain Dew salute right there. Good job. Very good, Chad. Outstanding news. And now you got to keep collecting the evidence for the 10-year green card. It's not over. It doesn't end until you get the U.S. citizenship under your belt. Dwayne Bickelman, in 2016, we had 31 inches of snow. Well, whether it's 31 inches of snow or 3 inches of snow, I got the heck out of Staten Island and flew to Florida. And I never left. Well, I joined the Navy, but I became a resident of Florida, which was good news for me in taxes, because when I became a resident of Florida, I haven't paid income tax to the state since 1982. New York, I'm fixing to look for a job in the World Trade Center in New York City. They were going to tax half of everything I made for the government so they can have their beautiful vacations to Tahiti. I got the heck out of New York, got to Florida, and boom, been doing great ever since. Let's see here. 31 inches of snow or 3 inches of snow, Dwayne. I'm not interested in any snow. If I want to see snow, I Google it. Christopher Reese, I just visited there, Francois, with the guy I served while in the Navy. That's good. Because of Jesus channel, evidence of marriage list in property document. You got to have evidence of your marriage for your 2-year green card application and for your 10-year green card application. Okay? It's a lot of work, but you can do it. Maru, good evening, Diego and Karina and everyone. Maru, your fiance is in Cameroon and your K1 visa now is in the pipeline. You got your NOA1 letter. You sent me a text message because you are a member of the channel. You screenshotted the NOA1 letter to me. You didn't have a clue what it was. And I explained to you exactly what it was. And I went over it. And now you understand the NOA1 letter is just saying that immigration received your K1 visa application with no errors and they cashed your check. Well, there was no errors because Diego was the one that helped you put it together. So I was giving you a 100% approval on that. I wasn't worried about it. Francois, Livingston, Diego, would you mind please repeat to those in the back of the room how never stop collecting evidence no matter what journey one is on? You got to keep collecting the evidence for your 10-year green card, okay, and for your U.S. citizenship. Your goal is to become a U.S. citizen. That's what the Trump administration wants to see. They want to see you become citizens. They don't want to see you come here and live here for 30 years on a green card. They don't want to see that. They want to see you become a U.S. citizen. So you got to keep collecting the evidence. Karina and I went on vacation to Arizona, to Nevada. We were in Texas. We flew in through Texas. Okay? We got all these evidences of our vacation to the Grand Canyon, to Segelman, Arizona, where they got the inspiration for the movie Cars. Karina was right there. She was in the Grand Canyon. And lots of people, they get shy about sharing pictures with strangers they don't know. See, what most folks have a problem with immigration is because of they don't want to tell immigration how much money they make. They don't want to share their tax returns. They don't want to share pictures with them. But you got to do all this stuff. So never stop collecting evidence till you become a citizen. Christopher Reese got 10 copies of divorce decree when I started the process and took note of the marriage certificate. Diego, I listened well, Diego, but I forget. Well, Christopher, you got to have a minimum of 5 certified copies of your marriage certificate. 1 for the 2-year green card, 1 for the 10-year green card, 1 to apply for U.S. citizenship. Okay. And a copy for backup, and 1 for your own copy, for your own file, for your own family records. Christopher Reese, on the 485, is this when my lady can get her social security card with her married name on it? No. Christopher, listen, pay attention. Your wife will get her social security card with her married name on it when you go back to the Social Security office with her green card in your hand. You get to America, you get the I-94, you go get her Social Security card ordered at the Social Security office. But a K2, you can't do that. The K1 can go to the Social Security office, get his or her Social Security number mailed to your house. That way you can get on the bank account, get on the power bill, get on the water bill, get on the trash bill, blah, blah, blah. Then When you get the green card in your hand, you go back to the Social Security office and say, here's my green card. And the green card is going to have your wife's husband's married name on the green card. The Social Security administrator is going to go back in his or her computer, change your status to legal permanent resident, mail you a second Social Security card with your wife's married name on it, and all that verbiage that says you cannot work without permission from Homeland Security. That goes away. So the process is this. You land in America, you get the I-94, you go to the Social Security office with your passport and I-94, you get a Social Security card, it gets mailed to your house in about 10 days from Baltimore, Maryland. So you got a Social Security number. It's going to be in your wife's maiden name, okay, because the I-94 is going to be in your wife's maiden name. When you get on all the government documents, the banking, the bills, get all that stuff out of the way, then you file for the green card. It's very important that you include joint ownership on a bank account when you file for your 2-year green card. And then you got to keep collecting those bank statements for your 10-year green card. Pay attention, class. Let me see. Maru, I got my NOA1 letter. Yep. Francois, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is French, Diego. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. No 3. There's no T. 3. Huh? 1, 2, yeah, okay. Christopher Reese, congratulations, Maru, off to the races. Now Maru's waiting for her NOA2 letter. She got her NOA1 letter, and now she's waiting for an NOA2 letter, which she should get in about 6 to 8 months. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March. By March or April of 2026, Maru's going to get her approved NOA2 letter. And I'm telling you it's going to be approved because I went over her entire K1 visa application. Okay. I went through every single page. Maru's a member of the channel. So I went over her entire K1 visa application and we fixed a few things. And so I am very confident, I got no doubt, that her K1 visa is going to get approved. I'm just waiting. Now we're all waiting for her NOA2 letter to get here. March or April of 2026. Right after Karina files for her 10-year green card, Maru's going to get her NOA2 letter. Let's see here. Maru, thank you, Christopher. Congratulations, Maru. Let the journey continue from Francois. Maru, yes, you explained it, and thank you so much. No worries, Maru. We appreciate you signing up as a member because that helps the channel. You're supporting the channel, right? It supports the channel. But you get the benefit from it, mostly. Thank you, Christopher Reese, said Maru. And Christopher Reese, dang, a lot of pictures till citizenship. I'm going to break a lot of cameras. Well, you don't have to break any cameras. I got a Canon M50. Okay. Now, I tried making videos on Karina's iPhone. But I seem to have a lot of trouble downloading the videos from the iPhone to the computer. I don't know why. iPhones were supposed to be this high-tech stuff, right? But my Canon M50, I take a bunch of video with that, and I can download videos, boom, just in a second. I don't know what the problem is. Because of Jesus channel, I'm just here for 1 year now. Well, 1 year, welcome. And we have not done the property document yet. Will it be a problem on my interview? Okay, because of Jesus channel, if you're the beneficiary, you got to be on proof of cohabitation and commingling of funds. Because of Jesus channel, you got to be on the deed to the house, the lease agreement to the apartment or the townhouse. You got to be on the bank statements, the bank account as a joint owner of the bank account. You got to have a credit card. Karina has her credit card. I got my credit card. She has a debit card. I got a debit card. You have to be joined together at the hip, living together and taking responsibility for the finances together. That's what immigration is looking for. You got to be cohabitating together and commingling of funds together. Whatever is Karina's is mine. Whatever is mine is Karina's. It's all one big happy family, right? And Maru, thank you everyone for keeping my hopes up. Maru, you've got this. I went over your K1 visa package with a fine-tooth comb, okay? And we tweaked it here, we tweaked it there, we did a few things that we had to fix. And then I told you to go ahead and mail it, and boom, you got your NOA 1 letter. And soon you're going to get your NOA 2 letter, and then we're going to start processing you with the NVC and getting you ready for the green card interview at the consulate in Cameroon for your beneficiary. Christopher Reese, okay, green card in hand, then her change her name. Got it. Right. When Karina got her green card with her married name on it, Karina Ross, we went back to the Social Security office, pulled a number, waited our turn, went and sat down in the little booth like we were in the scary visa interview room, and I did the translating, but it was Karina's Social Security information, so it's private. But I did the translation, which I was given permission to do by Karina. And I said, Karina's here to update her legal status in America. Here's her green card. Please process her a new Social Security card. So they went in their trusted computer with her green card right here. They changed everything to legal permanent resident, Karina Ross, blah, blah, blah. And then 6 days later, she got her new Social Security card in the mail. Karina Ross with her Social Security number, which didn't change, and all that verbiage that said cannot work without permission from Homeland Security, that went away. So Karina's Social Security card is just like my Social Security card, except the only difference is the number. Let me see. Christopher, what are your thoughts on applying for work permit? I heard it is quicker to get the green card than the work authorization. Don't waste your money applying for a work permit. It's a total waste of money. Don't waste your time doing it. You get your, like Karina, I filed for her work permit because it was free. Now it costs $260, I think it is. But when we did it, it was like, well, it's free. I'm going to get something for free from these people. She got her work permit. And 3 weeks later, she got her green card. So what was the point of the work permit? She only used it for 3 weeks. Just reduce the paperwork level, reduce the paperwork load at immigration, reduce the time it takes to process your green card by not including the work permit application. Save the money, speed up your application, and you'll get the green card and everything's peachy cream, right? My thoughts on applying for the work authorization, the EAD, don't waste your time. Use that money to go and eat dinner at Texas Roadhouse with your new husband or wife, or IHOP, or somewhere. Christopher Reese, you're welcome, Maru. Francois Livingston, lots of celebrations coming up. Yeah, that's for sure. Christopher Reese, I use a USB, that's a universal serial bus, from my phone, and no, I'm not an iPhone guy, I'm an Android guy. Well, I'm not any guy phone. I don't care for Android or an iPhone. I don't see if I didn't have to have one, I wouldn't have. I gave this iPhone, I gave it to Karina. Right here, I gave it to Karina. I mean, I don't use an iPhone. I just check it for questions from YouTube, and I do banking on there, and that's it. I don't even hardly do anything. I have the minimal number of applications on there too. Keep the applications to a minimum on your iPhone. An application on your iPhone is a door for someone to enter your phone and get into your stuff. Applications are not secure. Look, when I was in the United States Navy, I learned all about computers, and I was programming computers and you got to trust me. If you got an iPhone or an Android, the only applications you should have on your phone are the bare minimum that you use. Delete Facebook off your iPhone. Instagram is secure. WhatsApp is secure. You can use WhatsApp. It's encrypted. But get rid of Facebook, get rid of X, Twitter, whatever you want to get. If you have an application on your phone that's a map maker that tells you how to get from A to Z, get rid of it. Because that application, not only is it telling you how to get from A to Z, it's also telling the person that created that application how do you get to A to Z. Do you have a McDonald's app on your phone? So you can order ahead online on your phone? McDonald's has access to your phone because you got their app on your phone. You got to trust me on this stuff, okay? I was programming computers in the U.S. Navy in C++ and BASIC even. I use BASIC. What about credit card apps? Get rid of them. The only app you should have on your phone, okay? The only app you should have on your phone is if you have YouTube. Okay, that's fine. A translation app is fine if you're trying to communicate with your loved one and you got to do translation. A translation is good. Informed delivery from the post office is okay. WhatsApp is okay. Safari, Google is okay. And your bank is okay. Okay, your bank, no problem. What about credit card applications? No, I would delete it. Just your bank application. That's secure. Okay, but get rid of. That's all you need. Chad Maynard of Because of Jesus channel. I am the beneficiary. Very good. Chad Maynard. What if my wife's name is her original name on her marriage certificate and green card? You can still change it. What if my wife's name is her original name on the marriage certificate? Well, that's going to be normal. Karina's maiden name is on her marriage certificate. It was on the marriage license, and the marriage certificate is Karina's maiden name. That's all over the United States. That's normal. But if you want to get your wife's name's maiden, Karina got my last name on her green card when she filled out Form 485. When you fill out USCIS Form I-485 and apply for your 2-year green card, the first question they ask you is, what is your current legal name? The first question on the I-485, what's your current legal name? Karina's current legal name was Karina, middle name Ross. The second question they asked you was, what have you used any other names besides your legal name? Yeah, Karina, middle name, maiden name. So the first question on the 485 is Karina Ross. So when we filed for Karina's 485, her green card came in the mail with Karina Ross written on it because that was the current legal name that she used on her application for her green card. And then you have to put her maiden name as the second question. Then you have the green card with your married name on it. That's how it works. Then you go back to the Social Security office and update your records. When you become a 10-year green card holder, you go back to Social Security and update your records. When you become a U.S. citizen, you go back to the Social Security office and update your records. Face-to-face, in person, make an appointment, bring your naturalization certificate. You got to do this stuff. When you reach age 62 and you decide you want to file for Social Security and you're a U.S. citizen, but you haven't told the Social Security Administration you're a U.S. citizen, you're going to have to jump through a whole bunch of legal hoops to fix that. Get it done when you become a citizen. When Karina becomes a U.S. citizen, the first thing we're going to do, besides having a celebration, is go to the Social Security office and update her Social Security records to U.S. citizen. So when Karina becomes 62, she's not going to have no problems with Social Security applications. It's going to be, boom, it's going to be just paperwork. No big deal, right? It is a big deal. Get rid of any applications on your phone like Facebook, McDonald's, KFC, Burger King. Get all that crap off your phone because it's making your phone insecure. Listen, guys, I'm a computer guy. in programming, not in YouTube. Karina runs the YouTube stuff. She knows how to do all this stuff. I know how to program what makes this process work. And I'm telling you, those applications on your iPhones don't need to be there unless you absolutely have to have them. Okay? Now, you can pay attention to me. Let's see. Francois Christopher Reese. Listen to Diego. Hamid got his green card in his hand 3 months after filing. That's correct. Christopher Reese, you a J-dial kind of guy, aren't you, Diego? What is a J-dial? I mean, J-Rod is, this is J-Rod right here. He's from Zeta Reticuli. Okay, he's got his green card already. Francois, what about credit card apps? Get them off of your phone. If you have a credit card, use your credit card, right? Starbucks, delete it. Dunkin' Donuts, delete it. Get it off your phone. Get them off your phone. Christopher Reese, not good, Francois. Because of Jesus channel, I have every other document for proof of our marriage apart from the house document. Will it be a problem? You got to get it. Why can't you get proof that you're on the lease to the apartment or the house, the deed to the house? It's not hard. Why can't you do that? Because of Jesus channel, I don't know if you got to prove cohabitation. You got to prove it. Let me see. Francois, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, delete those apps off of your phone, Francois. Christopher Reese, J-Dial is those phones on ships and subs, or should I have said sound-powered phones? Sound-powered phones, I know what they are. I was on the sound-powered phones for 4 freaking hours. 12, I had the 12 to 4, 12 to 1600. JL phones, the JL phones. Now I remember. Because of Jesus channel, my wife said her to do it. Okay. Francois, will do, thanks. Yeah, look. I got one app on the phone that's for banking. Okay. I don't have credit card apps on there. And we have credit cards, but we don't have that application on our phone. We don't have this pay as you go by tapping your phone. That's dangerous. Okay. I'm trying to help folks come to this country from all these different countries around the world, and they want to become part of the techno scene. I got to get the iPhone, I got to get all the apps, I got to have my Starbucks app on my phone. No, you don't. When you go into Starbucks, if you go to Starbucks and you want to buy a coffee, you put the cash on the table or you use your credit card. You don't use your phone to do that. You're opening up all of your banking to the whole freaking world. So, you got to trust me, guys. Will do, thanks, says Francois. Christopher Reese, had to be them for restricted maneuvering. Always seemed to happen after getting off a watch. Right, when I was pulling into Alexandria, Egypt, the weather was too rough for us to pull to Pierside. So we had to anchor out off the coast of Alexandria. And I was the JL Phones guy that was coordinating with the bridge, watching the port side as we were entering into the channel there. We were basically, we had to get Egyptian tugboats to tow us into this part of the channel. And then the other time I went to Egypt, we actually made it into the Alexandria. And we had Egyptians on tugboats taking us in. And we had to go around all of the Egyptian boats that were sunk by the Israeli Air Force in the 6-Day War back in the 60s. I was like, hey, what? I'm talking to this Egyptian guy. I say, what's that ship doing sunk right here? Because you can see it. He said, oh, the Israelis sunk that one. I said, oh, okay. So don't mess with Israel. Anyway, my wife said it's a lot of paperwork to do it. Well, so is putting a green card package together. But you got to do it. You cannot be lazy in this process. Flojo. No permiso en este channel. See, you got to do this. You got to do things you don't want to do. I didn't want to tell immigration. I didn't want to give them my tax returns. It's none of their business. But it is their business if you want to get this K-1 visa adjudicated and your green card approved. When we file for Karina's 10-year green card, we're going to have two tax returns, 2024 and 2025. We both filed the taxes together jointly. Okay? And it ended up where we're paying more money to the government because we basically making more money because Karina's working now, which is a good thing. So that means we're going to pay more taxes next year. We're going to keep the federal government afloat, so to speak. And your wife said it's a lot of paperwork to do it because of Jesus Channel. Well, you tell your wife to do the paperwork, no matter how hard it is and how much work it is, because it's required. It's necessary. Christopher Reese, at least you got to see some places, Diego. I've seen a couple of places, most of it, the engine room hugging a nuclear reactor. Well, you're on submarines, right? You were, weren't you a machinist mate nuclear engineer on the FBM submarines? So didn't you have to score like a 99 on the ASVAB just to qualify for that? I remember I took the ASVAB test for join the Navy in Montgomery, Alabama, and that's where I got sworn in and shipped out. Because I was a resident of Florida. I got out of New York City and moved to Florida. I told the government of New York to pack sand and they can stuff their taxes where the sun doesn't shine. And I got to Florida, which is a tax-free state, other than sales tax and property taxes. I got to see lots of places. I've been to Egypt like 4 times. On our 5th visit to Egypt, I think it was my 5th, I didn't even get off the ship. Everybody's lining up to get off the ship, to go to the boat, the Liberty boat, to go into Egypt. And I just stayed on the ship, watch movies. I said, I've been to the pyramids. I've been to Giza. I've seen the Sphinx 3 times. I've done everything I can do in Egypt. So I saved my money. Christopher Reese, you got a 96 on the ASVAB. That's very good. I got not a complete. You're not a nerd. No, you're good. You're doing good. You're doing good to get, especially to qualify for nuclear power subs. I mean, that's tough to do. But when I was in the Navy, I was doing maintenance. I was on the ships that did the maintenance for the FBM submarines and the fast attack submarines. And in fact, right now, sitting off the coast of Venezuela, there's a beautiful fast attack submarine full of Tomahawk missiles sitting there, going around in circles, waiting for something to do. If I was Maduro right now, I'd be looking at Cuba. I'd be calling Cuba. Hey, do you got any space in the what do you call it when you rent a room? I can't remember what you call it. I need a place to stay. Maduro should be thinking about relocating. I mean, Trump's sending more ships to Venezuela's backyard. More ships, more Marines, more people. And the American people haven't got a problem with Venezuela. The American people love Venezuelans. Venezuelans love Americans. The problem is Maduro and his inner circle of a few people. That's the problem, not the people of Venezuela. Everyone in Venezuela is like this. They're all waiting. Like, come on, Trump. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, Trump. Take this Maduro guy and send him somewhere else. That's 85% of Venezuelans. But there's a little group there and his military generals that he pays with his narco drug money, in my opinion. And Trump, he gave the order to take out this boat that was leaving Venezuela filled with all this drugs, and it was there like 11 narco terrorists on the boat, and boom, the news media is reporting a kinetic strike on that boat and blew it to smithereens. And people are asking me, what's a kinetic strike? Because I was a senior chief in the Navy. A kinetic strike is when you use a missile. Okay, a missile is a kinetic strike. A non-kinetic strike would be something like using sonar to deafen somebody, to incapacitate somebody with a high-pitched sonar sound, which is what happened to some folks in Cuba, at the American embassy there years ago. So a kinetic strike is when you fire a missile at something. That's all it means. So what, Diego? What's a kinetic strike? What is that? Well, to translate it into layman's terms, it's a missile strike. Christopher Reeve, same class ship as the USS Emory S. Land. Yeah, submarine tender. I was on the USS Orion for 2 tours. I was on the USS Holland for 2 tours, and then I was on dive tenders and I served on the support guy for dive tenders, the YDTs, the yard dive tenders. So I had my first tour on the USS Holland. Then I broke my foot, so I got taken off the ship. Then I went back. When I got my foot healed back up, I went back and did another tour to finish up my tour on the USS Holland, which was taking care of fleet ballistic missile submarines in South Carolina. Then I went to the dive school, etc. Let's see here. Hello, everyone. Rooster is in the house, everybody. Say hello to Rooster. How's your family doing? Christopher Reese, that would be some great duty. What is? Well, being on submarine tenders? Well, yeah, it was the biggest ship. I was in a larger duty section. And then when I went to the USS Orion, I became the guy that ran all the computers on the ship. I was the computer guy that controlled all the computers. So they took me out of the duty section. So I didn't stand duty anymore. Okay, because I was responsible going to work 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. I didn't get a day off because I was running the computers. But that was the best tour of duty I had in the Navy, was on the USS Orion. The ship no longer exists. It was turned into scrap metal and made into razor blades. Let's see here. The Emory S. Land used to be in Scotland, and then it went to Guam, I think. Francois Livingston, may I send you pics of a humongous Navy ship that we saw this past weekend? Well, sure, Francois. That's only being used for tours. Well, I've been on lots of tours on Navy ships. Not sure how old it is, the ship though, but it looks mighty old. Missed the time for the tour. Maybe that's the U.S. Constitution out of Maryland. That was probably the ship that you saw. Did it have sails? Was it like an old sailboat ship? Christopher Reese, shush, Rooster is in the house. And Francois says, hello, Rooster. Hey, Rooster, Christopher, what is the best duty section you've seen? I was in 4-section duty. That was the best I had. So every 4 days, I'm on a 24-hour duty section. And that sucked. That's okay. It was serving my country, right? The best I saw was 3 sections. Well, that's because you're on a submarine with a crew of which we won't mention. So you got a small crew on a submarine. I'm on a big ship with a large crew, a lot of people, so I was in 4 section. Rooster, just waiting for the interview. Seems like New Orleans is backlogged. Well, the only reason New Orleans is backlogged is when it rains, because New Orleans is underwater when it rains because it's below sea level. New Orleans, I think, is like 12 feet below sea level, something like that. So when it rains, they got these big levees they built to stop the place from flooding. But they don't work most of the time. So there's always freaking flooding in New Orleans. But as far as immigration, I don't know if they're backlogged or not. I can investigate for you. And Christopher's asking what interview. Rooster, I'm an old BT. You're a boiler technician. I remember we had BTs on my first ship. Boiler techs were down in the engine room. And the ship, the engines that we had were Morse Fairbanks diesel engines. Okay, Morse Fairbanks diesel engines. Rooster, they call me a dinosaur. Well, if they call you a dinosaur, then I'm in the same group. As a green card holder, you can join the military if you want to. You can go in the military. You just can't get a security clearance. You just can't get a job that involves secret information or confidential information. You can get a general duty assignment. Joining the military would be a great way to get your U.S. citizenship. So if you're coming over here, like if you're a K2, you're 18 years old, 17, 18, 19 years old, and you join the military will pay for your U.S. citizenship. And you can get your U.S. citizenship for free. You join the Navy or the Marines or the Air Force, but you can't join Space Force. If you're a green card holder, you cannot join Space Force because you got to be a U.S. citizen to join Space Force. Rooster, they listed 33 months for the 485. Don't pay attention to that. That's not true. That just stops people from calling and bothering immigration. The longer the wait time, okay, for the USCIS, then that cuts down on people calling up immigration asking for status on their case. Francois Livingston, it says Little Rock on the side with a number 4 on the side. There was a big black submarine next to it. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Send me the picture. Send it to my phone or email it, and I'll check it out, and I'll tell you what it is. Christopher Reese, I heard Diego and Rooster first set of orders said to report to Norfolk and wait on the water. Pretty much. M-M.B. Hello, Diego and Karina. How long does it take to get the 10-year green card when we apply to lift the conditions? 21.3 months. Will they extend the 2-year green card during the process? Yes, for 36 months. MB, did I answer your question? You didn't even have to call USCIS, did you? You didn't have to call an immigration attorney. I just saved you $500, right? In a phone call to an immigration attorney. The question is from MB, how long does it take to get a 10-year green card when you apply to lift the conditions using Form 751? 21. It's just a tad over 21 months. 21 months and a few months. And will they extend the 2-year green card? Yes, 36-month automatic extension. You get a letter, so you file. So Karina's going to apply for her 10-year green card in about 7 months. It's not much longer. Time's going by so fast, I feel like I'm in a time warp. Okay? When Karina files for her 10-year green card, it's going to take 21.2 months to get to where somebody looks at it. But she's going to get a letter in the mail saying it's an I-797 notice of action letter saying, Karina, here is a letter that is saying, notification, we received your application to adjust your status to permanent resident. This notice is to inform you that your 2-year green card has been extended by 36 months. So Karina's 2-year green card expires and turns into obsolete like my old computer, but she has a letter that she can attach to the back of this 2-year green card that says she's in the United States legally and is allowed to work here and continue with her wonderful life here in the United States of America in Florida. And we're lucky so far, no hurricanes. Please, no hurricanes. MB, did I answer your question for you? Did you learn something today? Francois, wanted to ask permission first? No, you're good. Christopher Reese, guided missile cruiser, CGs, used in World War II, Francois and Diego. A guided missile cruiser is a CG. That's the designator. If you see a ship in a picture and it says CG on the side of it, it's a guided missile cruiser. And the guided missile cruisers now are so highly advanced with technology, from technology that was designed at Area 51 in Nevada. They are basically invisible when they're at sea. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to put out any more information about that, but that is really cool, right? The ship, those ships we got now, the technology. You got the Chinese, the communist Chinese just had their big celebration celebrating the end of World War II. As if the Chinese did anything in World War II. What did they do? They were on our side in World War II. They were basically a decent government. When we bombed Japan, when we flew to Japan and dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the pilots didn't have enough fuel to fly back to the ships they left from. So where did they land? in China. And the Chinese welcomed him and helped him, gave him food and everything else. Now the communist Chinese are the biggest threat to world peace on the freaking planet. Right? That's an opinion, that's what I think. Christopher, CLG back in World War II, yeah. MB, yes, you understand my question. Thank you very much. Just want to make sure that you learn something from this. When you file the 751 to lift the conditions off of your 2-year green card, you got to do it 90 days before, within that time frame, before the 2-year green card expires. What happens if you are late in filing to lift the conditions off of your 2-year green card? What if you're late? What if your 2-year green card expires today, September 3rd, and tomorrow you file the paperwork to lift the conditions on September 4th? So your green card has been expired for a day. What's going to happen? Does anybody know? What if you file for the green card too early? What if Karina was to file for her 10-year green card today? It's way too early. What's going to happen to Karina's application? Does anybody know? Come on, guys. You got to know this stuff. You have to know this stuff. There's so many people making stupid mistakes. They're filing for their 2-year green card 30 days late because they're freaking lazy. It's 30 days already? Okay, well, we better get this paperwork together. They're going to send it back. That's right, Christopher. If Karina files for her green card too early, they send everything back. What happens if you file too late? What if you're a day late? I'm late. I got another day I can do. What happens? Your green card application is going to be denied, and you're going to be getting in line for deportation. Get in line with everybody else who's here illegally, because you're going to lose your status. If you don't file for the 10-year green card within 90 days before it expires, you get flagged and you become out of status and you get flagged for deportation. But you have to go in front of an immigration judge first. So you're going to get a letter. You didn't file for your 10-year green card within the time frame that the U.S. Congress says you must do it. You must now go in front of an immigration judge and explain what your problem is. And if you don't have a good reason, if you weren't in the hospital recovering from some contagious disease and you couldn't file for your 10-year green card, if you don't have an excuse, that's good. You're going to get kicked out of this country. Okay? I'm serious. They flag you. And then it becomes very difficult to become a U.S. citizen if you get over that hurdle. Aldo Intriago Bergman, what is the difference between green card interview and K1 visa with a normal I-130 and I-485 interview? Knowing that I-129F and consular interviews were done previously. There's no difference. A green card interview, a spousal visa interview, a K1 visa interview, they're all the same. What they're trying to do is make sure the relationship is real and you qualify for the benefit. That's the reason for the interview. Is the relationship real? Do you qualify for the benefit? That's what they're looking at. Doesn't matter if it's for a spousal visa on an I-130. Doesn't matter if it's for a green card interview through a K1 visa. Because an I-130, you don't file an I-130 when you file for an I-129F. When you come in the United States on a K1 visa, your sponsor filed an I-129F, you got your K1 visa approved, you came to America, then you file for the 2-year green card. You don't file an I-130 with a 2-year green card application. You don't. That's for a spousal visa. That's if you come to the United States and you're already married. Christopher Reese, so note to myself, set reminders. Set reminders. Okay. On the front of Karina's 10-year green card application, there's a big date that I printed. March 26, 2026. This is the day that I can mail in her 10-year green card application, starting March 26th and ending the day before her 2-year green card expires, which is in June of 2026. If you file too early, it gets sent back to you. If you file a day late, pack your stuff because you're out of here. Bambone One. Now, Bambone One's a member of this channel. It's good to see you on the live stream. For a K1 green card must be filled within 90 days. For K1 green card, I mean 2 years green card. Listen, Bambone One. When you come to the United States of America on a K1 visa, you got 90 days to get married. You don't have 90 days to file for the green card. You got 90 days to get married, and you want to get the green card application mailed off within the longest you want to wait 6 months. And then when you get your 2-year green card in your hand, you got a 2-year green card, 90 days before that green card expires, you look at the expiration date. Oh, okay, Karina's expires June 26th, 2026, minus 90 days. That goes back to March 26th, 2026. So starting in March, ending in June, somewhere in there, we have to apply for Karina's 10-year green card. If we're early, it gets set back. If we're late, if we apply for Karina's 10-year green card on June 27th, 2026, she's going to be in line for a removal from the United States. This administration is not playing games. You either follow the rules or get the heck out of here. I got Karina covered. She is good to go. Perfect. If we were to mail in her green card application today, she'd get it approved. Okay? But I know how to do this. I've been doing it for so long. I got 12 years of experience doing this. It's a long time. You know? Immigration attorneys do a good job for the most part, but you don't want to put an immigration attorney in charge of your wife and husband's future life. Why would you want to do that? I was in control of the K1 and the green card application. So if immigration had a question, they're calling me. Hey, Diego, what's the deal? They're not calling somebody else, a third party. So I can respond to it right away. You don't want somebody else controlling your K1 visa application. You don't need to hire a company to do it. You don't need to do that. Okay? Now, if you want to become a member of this channel and sign up like Bambone One and Christopher Reese and Francois, okay, you can sign up as a member and then you get my phone number and email, but I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm giving you 12 years of real-time experience. So if you have a question and you've paid your $9.99, you got my phone number, you can call me, text me anytime you want. But if you call an immigration attorney, how much do they charge you for a 10-minute phone call? How much does that cost? It's insane prices, right? And how many immigration attorneys do you know that's actually married a foreign national and brought them to the United States? Or did they just go to school and learn how to do this in a desk and take a bar exam, which is the bar exam is difficult, but you're talking with Diego with real-time experience. I've saved so many people from getting their visas denied, their green cards denied. I have saved so many people. Better than ever. It's been 3 weeks, no green card yet. It's been 3 weeks since you had your green card interview. Is that what you're saying? You went to the scary green card interview after waiting and waiting and waiting since the interview. Okay. We'll give them 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks to get it done. Your paperwork has to go to Corbin, Kentucky. Corbin, Kentucky then processes your green card. And Corbin, Kentucky is a contracted company that works for Lockheed Martin, which are the Area 51 guys. You know Area 51, right? S4, where they back engineer those alien spaceship. Lockheed Martin designs some of this high-tech stuff, the planes that you see, the stealth fighters, right? All designed by Lockheed Martin. Those are the guys that are processing your green card in Corbin, Kentucky, a contractor. They build this green card so technologically advanced that you cannot fraud it. You cannot recreate it. Okay? It's such high technology that you can't make one. All right? That's why it takes so long, because they have to process it. It's not just printing something off of a printing press. Okay? You live in the state of Missouri, better than ever. Well, congrats. Beautiful Missouri, beautiful state. It's a great place. Christopher Reese, Lockheed Martin got their hands in a lot of things. Yes, they got a contract with USCIS via the State Department. Lockheed Martin is known as Skunk Works. They're the folks that designed the stealth fighter, the stealth bomber, the SR, Blackbird, the spy planes, all that technology, all that stuff that we don't know about that goes on in Area 51 that we shouldn't know about because it's none of our business. We shouldn't be sticking our nose in there because that's protecting our country. Those are the folks that work in Area 51. They've got contractors now working for USCIS in Kentucky producing the green cards and the work permits. Okay? So if anybody out there, tries to make their own green card, good luck with that. It ain't going to happen. Because in Corbin, Kentucky, at the factory there, where it's a top secret facility, in the factory, the process is highly secret. Every single green card has been identified individually. You cannot copy it. You can't reproduce it. Okay? Christopher Reese, I've seen them on the boats for the what? I don't know. Lockheed Martin, well, the civilians came on the submarines because remember, it's civilians that made these submarines for the Navy. The civilians. It wasn't the Navy that make the submarines. It's civilians with these highly compartmented secret clearances that build all this stuff. Okay? Top secret. I had a clearance in the military. I was allowed to see this stuff. This other person had a clearance in the military. They were allowed to see this stuff. They weren't allowed to see what my stuff was. It's all compartmentalized. So not everybody sees the big picture, which is the way it should be. Better than ever. I mean, no approval yet since interview, and I'm worried that my dad's false emails to USCIS is going to have an effect. No, has no effect at all. I remember your dad was sending emails to USCIS trying to discredit the marriage, trying to give you a hard time. And if you remember, my opinion is you don't have to send your dad a Christmas card anymore. You can take him off his birthday card list, and you're going to save a ton of money on birthday cards, Christmas cards, etc., etc. Because you want to not contact with that dude anymore for his horrible behavior towards you and your family. You got to learn. You got to be able to do that. If there's people in your family that's trying to attack you because of your decision to marry someone that you love, you got to dump those people and kick them out of your circle. But do it in a polite way. John Lane, now John's a member of this channel. Do you need an extra set of passport pictures for the employment authorization and green card application if filed at the same time? Yes. You got to have passport photos for the work permit. You got to have passport photos for the green card application. When Karina got her work permit, there was her beautiful picture right there. And then when she got her green card, there was her beautiful picture right there. When you file for your 10-year green card, the 10-year green card, you got to get passport photos of your beneficiary. Not me. I don't need them. I'm the husband. I'm the American citizen. I don't need. But Karina is going to need 2 passport photos when we file for her 10-year green card. Okay. When you file for the 2-year green card, you got to include 2 passport photos. When you file for your work permit, you got to include 2 passport photos. Christopher Reese. John Lane, you got it? You good? Good? This is for Paula. Baby Paula is my niece. She now lives in Venezuela. She lived in Colombia. But the U.S. Navy is circling around the top of Venezuela. Maduro is probably looking for a new place to live. He's probably packed his suitcase already. And Karina's family's moving back to Venezuela pretty soon. They're all moving back because they know that the communist dictator, Maduro, is going to have to find somewhere else to live so pretty soon. In my opinion, 85% of Venezuelans want that guy out of Venezuela. And my niece, Paula, she loves it when I do this. We must do our exercises. She loves it when I do that. When I taught her how to do it, when she was 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. Christopher Reese. Okay, I will hit you up soon. I forgot to eat my sugar dropping. Yeah, you got it for your insulin, right? Have a great evening. You guys too. John Lane. Yeah, I've been talking an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and log off. And the next live stream is going to be what? What's today? What day is it today? On Saturday. Today is Wednesday. And Saturday's the next live stream. I'll make some more videos for you guys during the week. And stay patient during the process. Stay patient during the process. Don't make any mistakes in the paperwork, especially the 484, which is the affidavit of support when you file for your 2-year green card. Mr. American Citizen Sponsor. Don't mess up the paperwork. Don't forget to sign the paperwork. Don't forget to include certified copies of marriage certificate, divorce decrees, death certificates, annulments, etc., etc. Immigration has right now zero tolerance for mistakes. One mistake, no green card. Zero tolerance for mistakes. If you want to become a member of this channel, I don't like to take your money, but it's only $9.99. And that way I know who's got my phone number, what's Karina's number, who's got my email address, and you can call me and text me whenever you want with your immigration questions. You don't have to wait for a live stream. I got 12 years, I've been doing this, and now I'm going to go get something to eat. See you guys on Saturday. Sign up as a member if you want.